Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts, Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, Santa Pig Boxers. But the fourth one stayed up.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Is really all I can think of in situations like this, where, for reasons unknown, it was
no one knows why. That could be it. Like, I love it when you have to do repetitive tasks, right? And, you know, you always just do the exact same thing, especially on electronic devices. So you go to the email, hypothetically, you go to an email, you click a button, it says open launcher, you click yes, and then the launcher opens. I love it when one of those steps fails for absolutely no reason. Like, I clicked the open launcher and it was just like, nah. Don't think so, buddy.
What if I didn't do that, right? What if I
didn't, right? And it's like, it's not like I've been trying to do this since like 15 minutes before we were supposed to start the first time.
Oh no.
And it was just like, usually it sits there and does a thing and then it like comes on, right? And just sat there and then like, nah, nothing. Like, what?
Yeah.
What the heck? What is going on?
I'd rather, gosh, golly, rather not.
Yeah. And then I even like went to the website and I like manually signed in, and then it like, I just pasted the meeting code in there, and then it took me to the thing and it said open launcher. And I said yes. And it was like, nah. I was like, what the heck? What, bro? What?
You're asking kind of a lot of me here, buddy. Could you just back off for a little bit?
No. The one job that I have to do, can I just not right now?
Yeah. I'd rather I didn't. That'd be great.
Yeah. So,
well,
late ahoy, but there we go. We got it.
Yes. You got in. That's what matters.
Sneaked in there.
Here.
Just in the nick of time.
Here we be.
So here we be. Slightly late. I mean, I arrived exactly what I mean to.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I meant to say.
Yeah. Well, so on that, just personally, I was a little glad we were delayed because I had kind of a lot of things to get done. So
that's right. I knew that you needed this time. That's what I could sense it. Right?
Practically,
brother telepathy was like, oh, he's scurrying. I better hold off.
So much scurrying. It was like boom, offer letter, boom, blog post, boom, pull quote, boom, episode list. Like trying to get all these things down because they're just like, it's so annoying. Like, you know, business hours and like, you got to do stuff when other people are awake. So I was like, all this, like, that's
losers.
Like, what if you just never slept? Could we all try that? Then I could actually get stuff done. No. So I was frantically trying to get stuff done that I did not get done earlier today for.
That's all right.
Other things. So
no worries.
We are. Oh, and I am coming to you from not the cheesy location. It is. I am very adjacent to I don't know what we're calling, but like Office Prime. Like that is I am one wall away from that. Given that given the fact that last week somebody was sitting outside the door taking notes as to what was being spoken.
Did you tell the spy that they had to wait just like everyone else for Monday?
I did,
right?
Indeed. These
what was the guy's name from Willy Wonka? Right? What was the?
Oh gosh! Mr. Gosh. No.
So steal the Gobstoppers formula.
Yes. Yeah. No, what I have done is I have temporarily moved into a recording studio in my closet.
Okay. That sounds like nice air circulation in there. And
I'm not so much concerned about that as much as I am my back and my knees. So we'll.
Oh no! Oh no! This sounds worse.
It's not a large closet, people, and it's got stuff in it like any closets typically do. So I am recording to you from a tiny chair, and all of my things are perched atop a couple paper boxes, and my hard case for my travel gear as well. So it is a thing. So I will do my best to not cramp up and die
like
in
a
here.
Pleasant thing.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, the one light that is above me is a an LED, so it's not going to get particularly hot in here.
That's good.
Which is good because also my closets have like no insulation in them, so they are in fact the coldest part of the house at any given day. So
that's good though.
We're going to be fine.
Nice and refreshed in there.
Yes. Next to here I'm touching my long sleeve shirts. Here I am moving Mimi's vacuum cleaner out of my way.
There you go. Think of the sound dampening that all the long sleeve shirts will create.
So yes, I mean this is a plus for sure. This is a major plus. Sound dampening. This also means that it is more. I am, because it is dampened. Little ears less likely to perk up at the sound of conversation, and try and transcribe one half of a conversation.
True.
So,
there you go. Side note: Mr. Slugworth. So you can tell Mr. Slugworth, no,
or Mrs. Slugworth, if you know, just potentially,
hypothetically, if it was.
The world may never know and won't, but it's just, we want to be all inclusive here about possibility options. It's definitely Mrs. Slugworth, but So also when I'm moving things around, I'm finding boxes of things that I long forgot that we had. That's always fun. I'm looking at a very, very old VCR in here for some reason.
Nice. Hey, because you never know when you need a VCR, right?
So I was part of what I was doing today was going around to other businesses, and in lieu of stopping in and saying things like, hey, can I put up flyers about my business? I took a different tact today, and just for no want of anything back in return, I just popped in and was like, hey, how's business going? What is up?
I'm just imagining you doing all of this while carrying a VCR. I just need you to know that that's the mental image that I have in my head.
Well, no, because on my last stop is kind of like a old timey themed a candy shop, and in the corner, what was playing but Home Alone, the original, on a massive RCA projection TV screen. Tubes inside. It was an RCA TV inside of, like, it was a piece of furniture, like it was wood. It was the wooden around it. And that was the highlight of my day because I was so excited to see this thing still working, chugging along, playing Home Alone, as God intended.
Humming "Video Killed the Radio Star," just
yes, silently.
There's that song mentions VCRs in it, so it's just in my brain now too. So there you go. We got just a little peek behind the proverbial curtain here. That's
fine of what happens. We'll just shut that back. Fine. It's fine. So no, that was that's what I was doing today, wandering around my city, dropping in places, and just to get to know people a bit better, introduce myself more from the business perspective, and just hear from them how they're doing. And it helped me get some sense of kind of locally how people are feeling with the economy. And so that was not good, people. It's not good. If you want to know, but I did
Right. We established last week it was Gen Z's fault. I seem to recall that was crux of the end of the episode.
Yes, this was a good listen. Fine, everybody. Don't write emails to 1-800 All America Street or whatever. So it was no, I had and because I was kind of there for apropos of nothing, it was kind of just whatever was on the person's mind. And some were way more vocal about circumstances than I was like, well, look, I need to leave now. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine the interesting things that people start spouting off like that. Like, oh no, I need to get out of here.
Right. Where I'm like, oh, is that my phone ringing? Gosh, golly.
Like,
I need to.
I think I saw Mrs. Slugworth outside. I better go check out.
Yes. So run away. And then it was also cool just to see into some old buildings that had been restored. A couple business owners had moved into rundown buildings, and they had done really wonderful renovations in them. Nice. These big old storefronts that date back to the mid 1800s, and they still had the tin ceilings up in the way high up. Okay. Yeah. So but those, it's amazing. Like, those stores had like 30-foot tall ceilings. Like, you walk in, right, and they just go way up high. And he was telling me, like, I had in his one, he had 11-foot drop ceilings.
Jeez Louise. What a drop. Why? Like, at that point, like, why even bother? Like, I feel like
that was my thought of, like, that is so intense. And it was because
so much ceiling.
this building had been turned into just office space, like just boring office space, where they just wanted the tiled ceiling with the little cubicles, with everything.
You can have cool office space, people.
Well, and so, this is the mentality of today, but of 30 years ago.
True, of 1987. Right? No, you cannot have cool things, right?
No.
Brown, beige.
It's gray. Exactly. Like, everything's all beige and brown and boring and blah. So, he came in and ripped all this stuff out, but he was counting his tiles, and he noticed he had 22 of these tiles were damaged. And he was like, well, I'll just get these replaced. Now,
no.
You may know this. Do you know where? Do you hear? Wait, is that static? Is that me? Do you know where nationally, if you are renovating a building and you have these tin roof tile things in there, do you know where on a national level you would go and order from a company for these things?
I don't. Tell me. Where would I go?
Missouri.
Well, there we go. I was guessing it was somewhere in Missouri. That was my guess, but I was like, still don't know exactly where this could be. So I don't. Yep.
There is a company who does these things, and they have like scrounged across the country, and we have found old molds to make these in. They also will hand make you one if you have one that they don't have on file.
I also feel like they could just cast your seating and then boom, and mold, right? That's how,
well, they have to make sure that it is pristine and it doesn't come across as damaged or whatever.
It's going to be 25 feet up in the air. If it's like slightly wrong, no one's going to know. It's okay. Like,
yes. And then so he said, and they went, oh, well, gosh golly, we don't have any of these in stock, but don't worry, we'll make these for you. And
yes, I'm sure for a low reasonable price.
yes. So I here's what did I say? I said he had 22 of these missing. Okay. I
don't think I want to hear this number.
Okay, it is. Kids, again, these are it's bad. So they went, that's fine. For 22 of these, it's only $30,000.
Bro, are you serious right now?
Yes. That's just under $1,400 a tile.
Wow, that's oh my god.
For 22,
gilded,
he was like,
we really are living in the second Gilded Age, aren't we? This is not great. Like, what on earth?
It's insane. Now, again, these things are like mega hard to recreate, and there's a company that does this. So, like, I get it. And to which he responded with, "Well, I mean,
No.
they're not that bad."
Yeah.
So, and then he also like found some, because he only did a full renovation on like the front half of this big building, and so he just went into the back half because he
like ripped them out and put them.
Yeah, like harvested them from another part of the building and just brought them up to the front.
I mean, yeah, like replace the ones in the back with some like. I mean, you can just cast resin some of those, right? Somebody's got to be able to 3D print these sucks, right? And then just like boop, stick it up there and in the back, right? And then it's like paint them white and like, oh, ta-da! Like,
right.
Fine.
So, and because he converted the front half of the building to his actual business space and office space and reception area, and he made the back half of it. It's not quite the back half. It's a little less than that. Into
the back bit,
into an Airbnb. And so he actually, he left portions of that still with the dropped ceiling. And so he just went up there and scrounged around and brought them down.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm not paying $30,000 for that. And I was like,
no,
yeah,
that's ridiculous, man. That's crazy.
It's so that's the going rate, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hope my drop ceiling ones are in stock. Then I guess they don't have to custom fabricate
next
them
time
for me.
You take over a historic building, and that was the other thing too. I've been downtown a lot, but I was really trying to just be present this time and really looking at business fronts and storefronts and going in and talking with people. And I started to notice that there were like half a dozen or more just like straight up historically registered buildings. Like, no, this entire building is on the registry of historic significance. And so now I have to go and figure out why, right? That's what I have to do because my brain. But it was just kind of like surprised. The more I looked, the more I saw these little plaques all over the place downtown.
That's very interesting, right? That's pretty cool. I had a similar experience last time we were downtown for a thing because I was not like, I usually just like walking by stuff, right? You know, and I like don't stop and read the signage that's there, you know. But like, you know, was walking by the sign, right? And I was waiting for, I was getting food from a food truck, actually. I think that's what happened. So I was walking around and I stopped and looked at the sign at the rail yard here. And I was reading this and all of a sudden I was like, okay. Interesting. And they have this big sign and it's like, this, like when during the election campaign, Harry Truman was here. He did one of his little stops here, right? They, you know, they used to ride around the train and everything. And so he came here and stopped and did his little stump speeches, right? Stayed in town for a while because he had friends here and stuff.
What?
I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And did all that stuff. And Dewey, the guy that he beat, right? He had friends. He was friends with the important people in town. Also, he like stayed the night here, right? In the dude's house.
What?
And during that campaign season, they were both here in middle of nowhere, Missouri, right? Hanging out, talking, staying the night with the mayor because they knew him and stuff. Like, I was like, what the heck?
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool actually, and I didn't know it, and it was just on this like random sign, just little sign over there by the fence that you can't really see because it's not very big, right?
Yeah.
Been thinking a lot about signs recently. That made me think of it. Right, some of these I understand signage. Part of the problem with making interesting signs that you can like see is the cost, right? Like we talked about, probably, and hopefully not as expensive as ceilings, right? But the so this sign would be better if it was like bigger and you could see it from further away, and you could like if you could like see the titles at least. Like if it was a larger piece of metal and the title could be bigger, you might be drawn to, because there's like a series of 4, right? One of them is about some like race riots that happened that I didn't know about. One of them was about how this was apparently like the strawberry capital of Missouri.
What?
Yeah. What? I don't know. Who knew? There was another one about something else, and then the Truman one, right? Strawberry. Who knew strawberries, right? Don't know. Apparently, that's what one of the main exports at the rail yard was strawberries.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't.
I didn't. I never would have guessed.
Susan said she knew that, but I was completely flabbergasted by this piece of knowledge.
Well,
but so there's that sign, and then the other problem is, right? Like the other signage quandary that I found myself in this week is the city that I teach in is doing some sort of like Christmas in the park festivity thing, right? And they've made their little signs, and they're like the size of the real estate signs, you know, that go in the yard, right?
Yeah.
And they have these all over town. They're in everybody's yard. You drive by them on the road. You cannot read a stinking thing on this sign. I have no. I had to like stop and look. I have no idea what it says. Right. I'm sure that when they were designing this and using this font and this font size on a computer, it looks really cool. Right. But driving by it at 30 miles an hour, you cannot read it. It's not possible. Like just the font style and how big they made it. Like the top is really big, and then like the bottom is like really small. And you're like, what? The proportions are all wrong. And then like it's just green. So you're like, I can't. What is happening? It's terrible. It's It's a horrible sign.
Yeah,
I don't know who made this sign, but it's not good. It's so bad. It's been driving me crazy.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that's bad.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. I can't. Then yesterday, right? I was reminded of my long standing like annoyance with bumper stickers that are the size of business cards. Right. Like I'm sure based on the other stickers on the back of this truck, I'm sure I was not actually interested in this person's opinion about anything. But like, why would you? Presumably, bumper stickers are for other people to see. Yeah, I mean, it's like an outward display of your personality or lack thereof, I guess, on your car, which I personally don't think you should put on there just because it looks weird and annoying. But if you must do it, I think that they should be big enough to see, or at least like not have text on them. Right?
No.
Like, what's the point? I don't understand why you do that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, because it's like you've got to be so close to those people. You're just asking to be rear-ended.
Like the ones that are like pictures, like, okay, fine, whatever. Like you can, it represents something. Maybe I don't know what it is because I'm not like a Jeep enthusiast or whatever, but like, cool. I just said that because Jeeps are usually the ones that have like 20,000 bumper stickers on them. but like, or like big, like weird trucks. But the things that are on the big weird trucks, you can't read them. I don't like why go through all that trouble to buy it and put it on your car and presumably want other people to see it and they can't, right? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not saying I probably wanted to read this anyway, but like, still,
it's just
like,
it's just annoying.
yeah, it's just really weird. Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand if it's like a, you know, sports team thing, blah. Like, that's recognizable and I can see it clearly and I can be like, oh, you are a sport enthusiast. Neat, right?
Yeah.
I can see the one that looks like a, you know, it's like some sort of off-road thing. Cool. I can see the one that's Bigfoot for some reason, but like little teeny tiny text and stuff. And it's like, what are you doing, man? I don't know. Why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ugh. It's like you want to express yourself, but like not really. I don't know.
Just weird. Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit of expression.
Just a little bit, but not a lot. But then like, I don't want to put it on my car. Like, well, then don't even do it. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't understand. I just don't understand the point of bumper stickers in general, but like teeny tiny ones, I really don't understand the purpose of it.
I was like, I'm passionate about this enough to have a bumper sticker, but I'm not passionate about this enough to make it really apparent about what I'm doing.
Yeah, to share it with people. And again, do I actually probably want? Do I care? No. Like that's the other part of this equation here. It's like, do I care about this person's opinion? Probably not. Right.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
no. Right. There's a very few exceptions where I've read a bumper sticker and gone, "Ha, that was clever."
Oh,
like 5 times in my life. Right. That's probably
5 best times in your life. I'm sure. Right.
I mean,
right?
they were times. They were 5 times. Right. I don't know about the quantitative value that these bumper stickers added to me because I can't recall what any of them said, but I know at the time I smirked. Right, but like, so I don't know about that, but yeah, that's where.
Well, close enough, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't know who they're for because who's reading them? I guess you're just reassured that you know it's there, right? Because no one else can read it unless they stop at a parking lot and go like squint and be like, "What is it? I don't know." Okay, right? And then they're staring at your truck like Clint Eastwood, like, can't read that. Like,
oh yeah, that's what they want. They want the Clint Eastwood look on everybody's faces. That's their real goal.
Maybe that's what they got for me today. What? I don't know.
And then anger and rage sent their way.
Not rage, disappointment.
Okay,
I'm not going to rage at a bumper sticker, right?
I mean, maybe a little.
Except for the parents that pull through like the child drop off line that have like profanity bumper stickers on their car. Like, bro,
now we're talking.
Like at school, like the irony here is these are the parents that are like, I don't know where my kid's learning this stuff. Like, you don't. I think it might be on the window of your car.
I mean, let's just take a walk around and think of something, right?
You remember what's on your back window? Do you even forget it was there? Like, we have a couple parents like that. Everyone, sometimes they're there when I get to school and I walk by their cars. I'm just like, good night. Why? Why?
Yeah, that's not necessary.
It is not. Like, there's small children here, man. Come on.
This is a school.
Yeah, man, come on. You definitely can't wear that inside the building. I'll tell you that right now. So, yeah.
Ooh, gosh, that's bad.
So yes, Anyway, that's my sign rant over. I can't read the Christmas sign because it took me like a whole week to figure out what it said. Because it's so, again, I'm sure it looks cute in like Canva or whatever you designed it in on your desktop computer, but printed on a real estate sign and stuck in the ground next to the road, not helpful.
Well, and you see that a lot. People, and it's hard because when you're like, I see this most when people are making signs for like yard sales, right? The yard sale signs where at your kitchen table, right, with your permanent marker, it looks big, right?
Yeah.
It looks huge. And then
so it looks like from 50 feet away, like
traveling at 50 miles an hour, all of a sudden it's like, this is completely incomprehensible.
Yeah. Like they write it with like a pen. Like, you did it. Didn't even go for the Sharpie, my guy. Like, I can't. What are you doing?
I mean, at that point, it's just you might as well just hang a flag on a corner, and it signals to people that something is over here in this general direction. Like, that's how we've used them a lot. Of like, I don't know the address that's on that because it's completely illegible, but I'm going to assume there's something down this road. So like creeping through the neighborhood, like left, right, nope.
Sometimes you can see the arrow, like the arrow. You're like, okay, going left.
Exactly.
That reminds me. Do you remember in the Boy Scout trailer, the signal flag? There was a pair. I don't know how long they were in there, so maybe you didn't see it. There was a pair of like Santa pig boxer shorts.
Yes.
Stick.
Why?
Right?
Yes.
And we did that because we went to a couple hikes sometimes, and like the entrance to the road was like really hard to see, and so they would take that out and just stick it by the turnoff. and so the other people that were coming would be like, there it is, I got it. Like, it was like a secret signal of this.
That did not get there by accident.
No, we turned down this road, and it was so they were like really gaudy. They were really weird. They were like these green Santa pig boxers, right? And they were they were just on this stick. And if they got separated, right? If the different drivers got separated, they would just take it out to the turn that we turned off on to go to the campsite, and they would just stick it out by the turn so people would know where to go.
And that that is so, it's one of those things of like, how am I going to tell this person that I'm lost, or like not like that this is us, right? And it's so, it's like, how important in like literally the rest of your life to be like, no, this is the thing you'll know when you see it. Like, oh, right, Santa pig, like whatever that Santa, like now I'm trying to think through of like all of the Santa pig kind of things in my own life that are like, no, when I say this or when I do this or whenever, like that's my
signal.
That's my signal. Like, what's your finding? Oh, there's my next blog post.
Finding your Santa pig boxers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of not even joking about that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That one's for freebie right there.
Oh gosh, I completely forgotten about those.
I did too until you said until you were talking about like looking for the specific thing that tells you, and it's like, oh yeah, like these. I remember we used them a ton too. Like they're just like, get the flag. Like they do exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, right. You never are going to have to question if you're on the right path when you see the Santa pig.
Yeah, no. You're like, oh, that's the one. That's where I need to go. Okay. Oh, I love it.
But it's like that kind of, like, and it could even be like finding those things. Okay, now I'm really abstract. Sorry, I had to move away so my leg was falling asleep. Now right. it's really like, it really is finding those things, like when you are lost, like, or when you're about to be lost, like there are some, or you're going down when you're, I don't know, just like how many times it's like, man, I really wish there was a something just like really blatant to help me out here. And how many times we wish we had our own Santa pig. Okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's just like, you just need a sign, and then bam.
Bam. First there's the cringe, and then you go, okay, there we go. That's what I needed.
I like it. That's but it stands out, right? It's different. It's memorable. You're not going to forget Santa Pig boxers. And
yeah.
Clearly, that was like 25 years ago. So that's what.
Yeah. Still memorable.
Yes. Still oddly relevant. For some reason. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Unfortunately relevant, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's all good. I think.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, we are. I tell you that we're reading through the Fellowship of the Ring with the kids?
No.
Okay. Well, this was. We have been bouncing back and forth between like Hardy Boys or other mystery, those kind of realm of books. And we had finished up the Hobbits, and we had read a couple Hardy Boys, and I asked, like, what do you guys want to read next? And I gave them a couple options, and they were like, well, what's this? And I was like, well, this is a book that's kind of from that same, like, this is a continuation of that story. So they wanted to do that. So tonight we were reading, well, the past couple nights we've been reading about everybody's favorite character. We're
Tom Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil.
Okay.
Yes.
Knew it.
Yes. Yes. Which
were they like, Dad, why is this in here? Like, no. I have no idea. Really.
Yeah.
It just
And then when you're tasked with reading this story aloud, like, you gotta nail the singing and the rhyming. And so like I have my like Tom Bombadil voice, which has been a little difficult because I've been a bit under the weather with a cough and such. So that's been fun. But no, we got through the point where he put on the ring.
Oh, right.
Right. And like made it disappear. And then I like read through that, and I paused and I looked at them, and Noah was he was disinterested, which is fine. Right. But like Lillian was sitting there with her face all scrunched up, and she was like really thinking, because that's something that I had pointed out several times of like what the ring can do, and like, we're going to pay attention to this. And like when I read through that, I was like kind of watching her face, and she was like, her little hand popped up, and she was like, wait a minute. I'm like, how and why? And I was like, these are great questions.
These are the questions that the great Tolkien scholars cannot answer.
No, they cannot. So that's kind of an kind discussion. And then we finished up tonight from the Borrow Whites, kind of him saving them. And I had started it, and I thought I had timed it well enough so that we would end right before the scary part. But then I kind of like got into the scary part, and then I had to go long to get past the scary part.
We had to resolve it. We can't just leave it at the scary part. That's not how bedtime stories work, right? We have to resolve this conflict, right?
Yes, and I had to get through all the point where after like, now we're singing the song. Remember the song to come for help. So guess who's probably going to help? Right. Oh, there's his head, hat, beard and all coming through the thing. And yep, we're okay now. But I love Tom Bombadil so much. Even though he is a completely like opaque character in the like, and sure, I know some people complain about him because it's kind of like a non sequitur and stuff. And
it is really, but
it really is to the whole thing. But I don't like, he really, to me, not just he's like ridiculous and funny, and I would love to live in his house. But but to me, it just shows how much more to the world there's just like completely unknown. And I know even Tolkien had spoken about or written about like, yeah, sometimes mysteries aren't supposed to be solved. And sometimes things are not supposed to be unknown, are supposed to be left unknown. And I'm like, well, you knocked that out of the park with this character because, like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, right? I think part of the reason that he's there is that, Tolkien is trying to talk about the bigness of the world and how there is things in it that are not really explainable, you know? So like, because, Tom Bombadil just appears to be like a dude, right? But when the way he talks and the things that he talks about, when they ask him how old he is and like the answer that he gives, it's like, wait, you're not like a dude, right? He's almost like a forest, like spirit type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, and it ties into kind of the art of creation mythology, right? So again, sorry, about to nerd supernova on you right now, but like in the beginning.
Well, okay, sorry, I gotta stretch my other leg.
In the beginning, right? There was Iluvatar, right? That's the right. So I'll summarize. Basically, flip. So like this is like the god figure in Tolkien universe, right? The supreme deity, right? And he creates the universe through song, right? Like he sings. It's the music, right? It's the music of the Ainur is what it's called in the Silmarillion. So he begins this song, right? And then like his children become created, right? These are the gods like Manwe and Vare, like all these people, right? Orome, these things. They then begin singing their own song in creation. And like their melodies mixing with the melody of Iluvatar is what begins to create the world. Right? So like there's all this room for just like stuff because it was created through him and then his children singing, like their harmonies created things in the world. So like people don't even know, all of the gods don't even know what's out there because it was created in this like mysterious manner, right? And so that's how Tolkien explains how the world has weird stuff in it.
Yeah.
Is that it's like it was Eru's plan all along, but the plan is really just like unknowable, and he's just like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. Because that's where the evil comes from. Like one of the children is, of course, Melkor, and he tries to sing dissonance, and the dissonance creates the evil things in the world, right? That he's singing against the music, right? This is how they explain the creation of evil in the presence of all that. So it's really interesting, kind of weird take on creation. But anyway, that explains, that's kind of like where a lot of people just kind of slot Tom Bombadil. They're saying, yeah, he got somewhere in there, he just popped up and was like, he resulted from this. Don't know how old, he's from the beginning of time. He just showed up there, right? Probably one of the goddesses of the forest, like dreamed him up and dropped him there, and boom, there he was forever.
Yeah.
With his acorns and whatever.
Yeah, because I know he's been described as like, oh, is he like a forest Gandalf, basically? But like, he's obviously Gandalf is worried about the corruptible power of the ring. But Tom Bombadil's like, huh? What? No, this is, I don't care. Like, he's so like, so I very much more gravitate to the idea of like, no, he's not only is he sure he might be like outside of the total conflict and everything, but like his very nature of like at his core of like who he is, this is not important to him, right? Like it's a more simpler, more naturalistic perspective. Because also, like, Tolkien obviously had misgivings and of the destruction of his English countryside, and like the perspectives of that. But like, no, he is so pure in nature and in form. He's inherently resistant to corrupting influences because of exactly who he is.
Yeah, which makes me think he's some sort of product of the music from like Yavanna, right? Who is like one of the children of Iluvatar, who's like portrayed in the Silmarillion as like creating gardens and greenery and flowers, right? Like she's like, that's like her deal, right? Because they all kind of have like Greco-Roman like roles, right? Where they're like, you're the hunting god and you're the the ocean one and you're the green, right? They kind of fall into those categories. So it makes me feel like it's got something to do with like her and her like people, because like of the way that he cares about the forest, and he like is there protecting the forest and doing all that stuff, right? We see that role filled by other people throughout the Tolkien mythology, right? Like we have the Doriath, right, in the old times, right, with the Melanin and the girdle of Melanin protecting the forest and the woodland and the kingdom of the elves. And then we have, the Ints and Treebeard off other places, and their role is, nature protecting, blah, blah, blah. And I think he fits in kind of in that way, where like these other beings are like, they're very pure. They're very thinking about like the natural world and its existence, right? Pretty sure Treebeard is not a very corruptible dude either. So like, yeah, like, I think he fits in there in that realm. So it makes sense in context of like what of other things that do exist, right? But he does come out of left field in the story. Like it's just, it's just like, what's happening? Where's this guy? But overall, like mythologically, that's a word that's hard to say sometimes. It fits a lot better than you think, right? It actually makes a lot more sense, like in the grand scheme, I think.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of the world that's been created here, it's not it's not unexpected to find a character such as he, right, still around and doing his thing.
No, not at all.
Right. And then
especially, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's just I liked in the story of like all the lead up to this. So like, oh, the Withy Windle, like that's where all the queerness comes from the country and stuff. And it's like, oh, that was Tom Bombadil. Sorry, guys. That was oops.
Whoopsie daisy.
So anyway, it was kind of funny of like, oh gosh, no, that's where all the weird things. No, that's why we don't go there. And sure, it could be Old Man Willow. Like that's probably what they're actually talking about. It's just funny how they kind of overlap and exist in the same part too. So like, is it Old Man Willow? Is it Tom Bombadil that people are like, no, it's too much. It's really weird over there. People stay away.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like, maybe it's just Tom doing weird things, and somebody saw it and was like, that's messed up. I'm not going over there again.
Well, yeah, because they're like, they're like, oh, there's tale of paths that change and who keeps them up and for what reason and why. And it's like, that's just Tom like walking around. Like
it does sound like Tom Bombadil, just like doing whatever for no reason at all. Like off on a jaunt in the forest, like talking to squirrels, right? Like who knows what he's doing over there? Like,
he's collecting lilies, for goldberries. That's all he's really out doing.
Yeah, could be it, right? Who knows? Like planting a tree or I think that's fair. It's a misinterpretation of Tom Bombadil. I like it. It's like,
that's my headcanon.
I mean, it fits, right? It tracks. We'll see, but I feel like that's not too far off, right?
It's just anyway. So anyway, so that's we're past them. We've overcome the Borrowites, and we are looking towards things ahead. But yeah, I did kind of have to fast over a little bit of the intensity of like the arm reaching out from around a door, and I was like, anyway, so where this is happening,
probably a good plan for bedtime, right?
Yeah, it was like, no, Tom's here. Hello, hey, everybody's happy.
Yeah. Look at the joviality level is ramped up to 9,000 here. Just Happy fun time abounds.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, I was reading and I was like, so do you think they're gonna, I try and prime that pump a little bit of like, especially of like, do you think something's gonna happen? Like what's gonna happen before we move forward? And then whenever Frodo starts singing that song, Lily was like, Tom Bombadil. Like, yes, we were
Got him. I like it. Coming to save the day. Oh,
the
comedy.
Yep. So that's been our reading adventure. It is great fun to be had.
It's exciting. I like it. Good time. I thought, wait, no, I had a thought and then I can't remember it. I can't think of my thought.
Oh,
it's bother.
Oh, bother. Oh. I say the phrase, they will. Oh, what did I say the other day? I say tut tut, because obviously it looks like rain, like
clearly.
like tut tut. Like,
yeah, I say it all the time.
Like, or even that in the frame in the form of being like scolded, like they were tut tutted, like that kind of like tut tut, like as it. And I said that the other day, and Megan looked at me and went, "What?" And I was like, like tut tut, like no, like scold, and she's like, that's not a thing people say. And I was like,
it is because I say it.
Yes.
So right. We clearly didn't get it out of nowhere, right?
I mean,
like
just.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe we did. I don't know. But like, I say it.
Maybe a little bit.
Susan says it too, and I don't know if that's because I say it or if she said it on her own. But Susan says it also.
Okay.
Tut
tut. Tut.
Not often. Oh. Mostly we say tut tut. It looks like rain. Like if we're out walking. Like,
of course. As one must.
As one must. That's true. That's true. Speaking of, I was thinking this week, right? I don't know what. Oh, I just say things, right? In like, you say words, right? English is weird. English is a language made up of like 75 different languages together. I realized that there is one addition that makes English just much more fun to say, right? There's a group of words that just enliven and it makes it more fun to talk about. I'm, of course, speaking about terms from the Yiddish language.
Oh, jeez.
Right? Do you use many Yiddish words in your daily? Because I don't know why I do this. Right? I blame memes for this. Actually, I don't know why it was a thing she did, but I do a lot. Right? There's several words that I say just like randomly, and they're all Yiddish, and I don't know why I say
no
because I am not Yiddish at all. And I have no heritage in that regard, and I don't know where I picked these words up, but I do. They are a part of my vocabulary. Right? And I don't know where it comes from.
Oh, I say, I mean, okay. It's simple things like to schlep. Like I say schlep a lot.
So do I. I say shtick often.
Shtick.
Right? Shtick.
A person's
right. Slightly less often, I do use the word chutzpah.
Chutzpah. It's a good one.
I do use that one.
I do.
Obviously, schmooze.
Schmooze. Yep. Yeah. I was going to say schmooze is a great one. Kibitz. I was like, we're going to go kibitz for a while.
And kvetching.
Kvetching.
Yes. I use those two. I use kibitz more, and I think that one is because of memes, right? I'm pretty sure she said that word a lot.
Yes, that was her. Right. That was her go-to for sure.
And of course, schmuck. I use that one a lot too, right? And then obviously, oi. I say that one all the time, but like, or oy vey, right? I say all these things, but like, I do. I say these all the time.
Yeah, I do say these a lot. Like when you. And honestly, like even when you were like, "Oh, do you speak? Do you say Yiddish terms?" I was like, "I don't think so." So I had to Google. I was like, common Yiddish, like Yiddish terms or whatever. And I was reading through some lists as you were talking. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Like, oh no, I say all of these. I don't know.
And why do I do that? It's so weird.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Tookus? I say tookus.
Tookus?
I don't know why I say tookus, but I do. Like I just right. Part of this, I think there's been people in my life that say these words, and I'm pretty sure one of them was our grandmother for whatever reason. But also, it's just more fun to say that.
Oh no, it's a lot more fun to say that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, schmutz. Did we already say schmutz?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. Schmutz.
We said schmuck, but yeah, schmutz. Okay. Yeah, you got a little schmutz on you there. Yeah. I say schmutz. That. I say that. I do.
I like, oh, look at the schmutz here. I gotta get this taken care of.
Did we say schmooze? Did we say that?
Schmooze? Yeah, we did say schmooze.
Yeah. Okay, I can't remember. Yeah. Schlep? You said schlep too, didn't you?
Yeah, that was the first one. That's the one where I talk about that a lot. Like, I gotta schlep this across here.
Yeah.
Help me over here. Yeah. Kvetch. Yeah. So far, I think we've talked about schlep, kvetch, schmooze, chutzpah, kibitz, shtick, and then we had what was it? Schmutz. Yeah, schmutz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
there you go. And of course, oi. So
oi.
Like,
oi.
I don't. But I was just thinking about this week for some reason, right? I was thinking about it, and I was just like, I actually say a lot. I say I have a lot of, not a lot, right? I believe the official Yiddish word is abyssal, like a little bit, little tiny bit, right? But I use more of these words in my vocabulary than I recognize, right? And again, number one, I think it's because they're just fun. They're just fun, right? And I think some of them are because of memes, right? I'm pretty sure some of them are, at least.
Yeah, I don't blame our grandmother.
Kibitzing is definitely her. I know that one for sure because I can hear her voice when I say kibitz. Like I can.
I guess it's bad. It's bad.
Again.
Oh yeah, no, I would definitely say that's a Mimi thing, and it's so funny because my brain, like I said, my brain didn't even register those as actual Yiddish terms. So I think I'm gonna have to dig deep in here now and figure out. I think I need to be employing more of these. Actually,
yeah, I think so. I think that's what I was thinking as well. But because I had the same realization, I was like, oh yeah, I think I use a couple, and then I read some of those lists earlier, like yesterday, and I was like, oh. Wait, no, it's actually it's actually a lot of these. I wonder why random Midwest guy uses so much Yiddish terminology.
Oh, I found another one.
Oh,
okay. Somebody who goes off on a long tangent, right? They're going to stand up and they'll give you a what? Their spiel. What's your spiel? Spiel.
Yeah. I do say that one a lot too. Spiel, right? Let me give you the spiel here. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was talking about, I was telling Megan about the story of when I had to go to that, or I chose to go to this like branding thing or whatever about marketing or whatever. Like, oh man, he had such a spiel. That's like, oh, okay. So this is one that I don't use a lot, but
of course, klutz. Did we say klutz?
No, we did not say klutz.
Yeah, klutz is one too. I think everybody uses that one though. But
that was one. And this is the only one the only reason I know this next one is because of Mike Myers playing when he say, I'm getting verklempt.
Oh, from the SNL sketch.
That's the only talk amongst yourselves.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about that.
Oh, getting verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. Coffee. Welcome to Coffee Talk.
The coffee, yeah. The coffee talk. That's what it was. Yeah.
Coffee Talk, yeah. Oh, yes, that's the only reason. That's the only time I've actually heard that term used.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
What does he say? He's like, talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, I'm getting verklempt. That's what he says.
Yeah, he says, I'm
like,
getting
choked
verklempt.
up.
And then he tries to give them a topic to talk about. And he's like,
I think that was the joke. He would like tell him to talk about something.
Yes,
and he would like
but
wave his hand in a circle.
yeah, but it was something like a horsefish is neither a horse nor a fish.
Oh yeah, discuss amongst yourselves.
Discuss
Yeah.
amongst yourselves. Okay,
oh, he's another schlub, right?
Schlub?
Yeah, it's like sloppy, right?
Yes.
Looking sloppy. You're like, oh man, what a schlub, right? I've said that before, definitely.
No, that's a good one. Yeah,
it's a good one.
Okay. Well, I'm okay. This is good. Oh, I think anyway. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the first time I hear Lillian or Noah say one of those words.
Oh man, yes. All right, gotta get them going here.
Yeah. Okay. So goal over Thanksgiving. Really lay on all things.
Gotta pick a couple good ones. So just like keep using. See if they pick up the vernacular here. Right. We got.
Exactly.
I like it. I like this. I like this plan. Oh, is it okay? Oh, oh, I thought about this the other day. What is it that I say? You're futzing. Right?
Futzing.
Oh, futzing around. Right? I say that all the time.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like futzing is a good one because that describes what I do an awful lot. Like, I've got to.
Oh yeah, same. Right. That's what I do.
I actually realized the other day something that's key to my mental health of like so okay. So anyway, so
is it futzing? Is that the key?
Yes. No. If I need something to futz with of just messing around for no real like aim or purpose. Like this is very therapeutic for me. And allows me to like it's how I decompress and allow my brain to like open up because the other thing that I was what was I working on the other day? Oh, I was
but you sound like dad right now, like hardcore, just so you know. Like
right. No, I know, but it was like, oh, I've got this media server in the basement. I've always wanted to get it to make my own personal VPN to route back to my home network whenever we're out and about. So it's like, is that important? No. Do I need to do that? No. Does it really help anything for any reason? No. But me like futzing around with it, poking and prying with a purpose or no purpose really of like, can I get this to work? Can I work with this? Like, it's so relaxing to me in those moments because it's like, there's no pressure for this to actually do anything with. I'm just futzing, and it's
true.
I need this in my days.
It's a good point. Sometimes I use it in the context of Susan and I will joke about it, right? Because I'll be like, "What are you doing in the kitchen?" And she'll just look at me and go, "Futzing." I'm like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Futzing." That's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I think it's a good word, and it's
a good word. Maybe I need some more futzing in my life. Then maybe that's what I need to do. Yes. So I can try this out here. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh, my voice.
Getting a little verklempt, are you?
I'm getting verklempt. Ah. Oi. Oh, it's bad. No, I was because this is also something that I was thinking about too of kind of the importance of or utility of magical thinking I don't know if this is something that you do at all.
I definitely have never used those words in that order before. I can tell you that right now.
I think what I'm really talking about here is like okay, like,
hey, David Copperfield, what do you got for me?
Yeah, no, but like maybe better phrase is like fantastical thinking of imagining your imagination, like daydreaming, putting yourself in weird scenarios, or like just very basic, like pretending.
Yes, and I grew up in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. I am familiar with
the
land of make believe.
So that's where like of because I was trying to process our last conversation of like how to become an entrepreneur, and I was still really angry about this because like I'm so frustrated.
I mean, rightly so, if we're honest. Okay, like it's okay to be mad at that, right?
So
but as Mr. Rogers would say, what do you do with the mad that you feel, Collin?
Exactly.
What do you do?
What do you do? So I have been processing this, and also it's kind of reinforced today when I was talking with some other business owners in the area, and just kind of, again, like, just, hey, I want to introduce myself, talk, how's your business doing? How can we support you? What do you want to do? Like, blah, blah. Like, not that I have any resources to give, but like, hey, we're here for you if you want to talk. So, but like,
I got these tennis balls.
Yeah, I do. I've got some tennis balls and some poop bag holders. You want some of those? But like,
useful.
but like, the imagination required to bring something into existence that was not there before, that people had looked at the same set of data points, and where they saw one thing, you see another. Like, that's part of entrepreneurship, is this kind of almost fantastical thinking of like, well, no, let's try this brand new thing. Let's try this. Let's see what these, if I put these together in a slightly different way, what could be an outcome? And being able to think of that vision and project that vision into something and then start doing things about it, like, that's actually more in line with that spirit, as opposed to taking like business finance introduction. like, I'm sorry, like you kind of figure all that stuff out on the back end, but to be able to go, hey, let me imagine a world where, like, just starting with that of like, okay, let's imagine a world where there's a dedicated brick and mortar business to a lady who makes her own watercolor paints and sells them internationally. I met that person today. Okay. She's been doing it for 8 years full time. And she, like, tens and tens and tens of thousands of social media followers, like, very successful in this. And that's her shtick. Hey, look, everybody, that's her shtick.
Got him.
Like, who would be able to envision a world where that's something, like, except an imaginative thinker, somebody who can look at reality and go, okay, well, I know what is currently existing in front of me. I'm going to envision something different and then work towards that. And that, as we grow older, that becomes harder, right? Because you do, like, it's interesting because in one hand, you would expect it to become easier. And this is where I want your thoughts. So, like, okay, you think it'd become easier because you have so much more experience, so you can pull from so much more. But on the other hand, as you gain that experience, like, things tend to become more and more concrete. And I guess that's just because it's like, well, I've seen this before, and here's the pattern, and you can't break of that pattern. So why even try?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. You get locked into that one line of thinking, right? And then it's hard to see the way out of it. It's like tunnel vision almost,
Right. So as I was speaking with people today, it was very interesting to hear kind of their take on things, or like why they started, or like what they've been trying. And just this, because the other aspect that this brings into is like this experimentation thing of like, that's a creative process, like being able to run and do a true experiment. Like, even, like the kids that you're teaching, of like, that's a hard thing to do well, because it is incredibly creative in nature. Of, I'm going to envision answering a question that's never been answered before, and I'm going to do it in 3 or 4 different ways that's never been tried and see what happens. Like that's not like, that's not easy for a lot of people to
tricky
do.
to deal with.
Yes, right.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So I say all this to say I was having some fantastical thinking about envisioning myself storming a castle. No, I just read more broadly, people. That's my takeaway. Like read.
That's a good.
So I'm glad we're going through the Lord of the Rings, because it's kind of like this anyway. So that was all those thoughts came. I've been like thinking about this, kind of trying to process all these things from last week and figure out but what really is it? Like, what am I trying to get at with this? Why is it so annoying for me to hear about this like entrepreneurship class? And I think that's one of the aspects of this.
Well, it could be one of the aspects, right? The other aspect, I think, is that like it doesn't. Like, I feel like as a person that is like committed to building and improving and growing a business, right? The thought of a person whose sole idea is to like start something and then leave is just kind of annoying, because it's sort of like the antithesis of what you are doing, right? Like some parts of this similar in that like you are always looking for like new ways to do things or like creative solutions to problems, right? But like then you want to like follow through and like do the rest of it, right? And the idea of a person being like, all right, I'm out, is like annoying to you. Which I understand, it's annoying to me also. So I understand, like I get it. So like I think that's where it comes from, right? Because like a lot of people, not all, I want to make this clear, not all people that do this are like that, right? But like all the people that you see on social media are like this.
Right.
And
no, they are all about that.
Very awesome. They're really like those guys are kind of terrible. And like I don't like them.
No.
Right. And I just can't deal with that. Right. I also come to the realization that I'm just too old for social media things. Right. Because like all these people, they're all talking to people that are like 20.
Yeah.
Right. That's their target audience. So like I know that they're dumb and they're full of it. Right. But like other people believe them. And that annoys me a lot because they don't know that they're dumb and full of it. Right. And that they're lying to you on the internet. Like they just, like I think that's the other problem. It's like I'm just too old. Like I just want to look at like cooking things, right? Or like guitar things or stuff. And then they just keep showing me these people. And I'm like, I don't need, go away. Stop.
No, thank you.
It's upsetting me that you exist. All right. I don't, too old for this nonsense. Get out of here. I think that might be the other problem. Yeah, I feel like that's where some of your distressed feelings come from, right? Because again, a lot of people, not all listeners, not all, okay, not singling you out here, but like, you know, there's no iterating on the idea, right? I think part of that process that you're talking about, like that performing experiment, the important part of it is do a thing, you see what happens, you take that information, you do a new thing, right? And you're iterating, right? There's iteration that has to happen, because very rarely do you do a thing, come up with one idea the first time, and that's good. Right? Like,
oh yes, which is hard for me to get over my head of like, hey, just because you wrote it the first time, or just because you put the graphic together one time, doesn't mean that that's the best it's going to be.
Yeah, right. Like, and so you want to iterate and you want to change it up and you want to do stuff and you want to do that and you want to keep like doing things. Like in my classroom, I think about like this. I think about it as like, you know, every year I'm just like doing like tweaking things. I'm like changing stuff up. I'm adding stuff here and there. I'm doing other things, right? And so like that's just how I have to think about it, right? Like we're doing largely the same thing, but there are differences here and there. I've prepared differently for things because like last year I did a thing and I was like, oh, that didn't go quite as well as I thought it was going to. So this year, before we did it, I prepared more and I tried to make sure that I explained things differently and I tried to like make it, and it went better, right? And that's like iteration, right? Practicing and doing things over and over again. So like I think the concept of a person that's like, yeah, start, buy,
deuces, right?
Yeah. And again, I in my mind, I am aware that I am conflating a little bit the idea of entrepreneurship with like the startup culture, right?
Yeah, VC tech bros.
Yeah, like I know that I am conflating some of that because that's the only experience I have with that type of thing, right? With like people in like the .com stuff and like that tech bro startup stuff. Like those people are what comes to mind when I hear entrepreneur, because like that's what they were branding themselves as, during that time when that was like a real big popular thing to do.
Yeah.
And so I know that like some of my negative connotations come from that. Right. So that's my own personal problem, right? That we have to deal with.
I mean, like they're not too dissimilar, right?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of crossover similarities. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, they definitely are.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people now, like some of the people you see on the internet now, they're like, I'm an entrepreneur, but like they just like invest at stuff. They just like throw money at things and then like see what happens. Like that's not like working, right? Like you're not doing anything, right? Like when I like people like, they're all like, oh my gosh, Warren Buffett works so hard. Like, no, he doesn't, right? He like throws money at the wall and then like sees what happens. Like that's not working, right? It's not like it's not like doing things. Like his dad gave him money and he invested it. Oh my gosh, he's so smart. No, he didn't do anything. He just like it's why I feel like that's where I get upset. Like people conflate the idea of like, oh, he works so hard. People that work hard to do this, but like actually, they just like borrow money and then throw money at stuff.
Right.
And well, sometimes it sticks and they make a lot more money, and they're like, oh man, I'm on that grind, bro. You're like, you literally did nothing. I don't know what, like, wasn't even your money to start with anyway. What are you talking about? How are you taking credit for this?
Yeah. Not what we were wanting, people.
Yeah. That's like, there was no creative process here, right? There was no like, you're not handcrafting watercolor paints out of whatever it is that you handcraft watercolor paints out of.
I have no idea, but it was so cool.
It was so cool. Turns out there's more than just water. Who knew?
Indeed.
Like, you're not like creating that handcraft and then like marketing it and coming up and solving distribution problems and discovering how to, upscale your production, right? These are all like creative processes that happen, right? Like throwing money at stuff is not that. So I feel like that is where I just have a negative connotation with the word entrepreneur, because I would think of like paint lady. Like I don't think my brain would call that entrepreneurship. Right?
Yeah.
Like just because I have such a negative connotation just attached to that word already, right? I think I'm bringing that word down myself, right? And I'm only envisioning like one subset of the people that would classify themselves as entrepreneurs. That's my baggage I'm bringing to this. I've discovered, right? Because like people that are like creating a thing, marketing a thing, selling a thing themselves, like trying to figure out how to solve all these problems. Like that is also technically entrepreneurship, I guess. Right.
Right.
And that seems to me just more like useful because you're like doing a thing.
You actually want it to be useful now? Jeez.
I know.
What?
High standards. Have high standards here. Have it do a thing.
That's weird. Right? Weird.
Yes. I think those are my thoughts on that. The continued thoughts from last week.
Yes. Anyway, yeah. Mine too. So
interesting. Perhaps I shall ponder this further.
Perhaps you should write maybe a poem about this, maybe? I don't know.
Well, I would, except for I've already written one, so that means next week it's your turn.
Okay.
You get to hash out your feelings about this in a haiku form. Right?
Okay.
Or any of the other topics for tonight. I guess you can have free reign here. You could write a haiku about Tom Bombadil, I guess, if you really want to.
That's weird. Yeah, I mean...
Although the Tolkien estate may come after you for that. So.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Maybe not. Maybe don't do that. But I have one.
Okay.
Inspired by the end of last week about the meeting in which Gen Z was blamed for all the town's woes, right?
Yes, which is wonderful.
You can also write your haiku about ceiling tile production if you want as well. But here's what I came away with. Here's my haiku. Ready?
Okay.
Listen, but not hear. Chronic misunderstanding. Change comes from within. Boom. What do you think about that one?
Hey. That's good.
I like it.
I like that. That's okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the misunderstanding one that really like that. I like that in the middle there.
There we go.
Yes.
There you go. So there it is.
Okay. Well, Gen Z, you can go and listen to our episode, An Egregious Injury, to really figure out what the heck that means.
There you go. Okay. Bonus points for you next week if you can fit a Yiddish word into your
Oh. Okay, I'm making a note here. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll do our best.
You never know. Chutzpah may fit in nicely in whatever you got going on.
Okay.
It's or futzing. Maybe futzing.
Futzing. I like chutzpah. Okay. I've got lots of like oy vey. We got a lot of
yeah.
Here.
Yeah. There we go.
Very good. Oh, well, and on that, yet another fantastical bombshell. We'll end there.
All right.
Okay. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.